Hello everybody, and either welcome or welcome back to my podcast. As always, if you do like this, please rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. So I wanted to do this episode to highlight, obviously, first and foremost, what is actually like a section of a newsletter that a guy put out. But I wanted to do this because this particular piece highlights a certain problem, but this kind of spins off from the last episode where I was talking about how things online are becoming more sharply polarized and how things are getting really nasty and ugly in ways that I don't think are particularly good, shall we say. It's definitely not anything that's healthy. It's not anything that's going to promote any kind of decent conversation. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about another incident that happened over the 4th of July weekend that I didn't discuss in the weekly roundup because it wasn't really pertinent to anything there, but it is kind of pertinent to this. And that is the Hill County barbecue incident. Now, a guy on Twitter, which I don't even think he's on Twitter anymore, like that's how bad this went for him. He went to Hill County Barbecue, which is a barbecue place in DC, and obviously over the 4th of July weekend, Trump was having his little rally, 4th of July party celebration campaign stump thing-a-majig. I don't even really know what the hell you call what he did, but so that was going on. So obviously there were a lot of tourists in town, a lot of Trump supporters in town, and so there was a man and his girlfriend, and they were at the barbecue place, and apparently they had their MAGA hats on, like, okay, whatever. And this guy decides, out of the clear blue fucking yonder, to start a verbal confrontation with these people. Like, mind you, these are people who are just in town for this rally. They don't know this dude. Dude doesn't know them. I mean, they're just strangers in a barbecue restaurant trying to get some food. And this guy decides to take it upon himself that because these people have MAGA hats on, that they need to be confronted. And he repeatedly called them Nazis, said all kinds of other things in person. And the girlfriend or fiance, I think it might have actually been dude's fiance, MAGA hat guy's fiance or girlfriend. It was one of those, but apparently she got up in his face and she was like poking him in the chest or whatever. Anyway, what ended up happening is Hill County Barbecue asked the guy that started the confrontation to leave because, I mean, obviously that's the logical thing to do. But so of course, he takes to Twitter to try to explain the story like somehow he is the victim of some great wrong here. And he got just dogpiled all to hell, which, I mean, yeah, obviously, if you're going to start a confrontation with a complete stranger in public and the venue that you start this in kicks you out because you're starting a confrontation in their restaurant, and obviously restaurants can't have that. I mean, you can't have people just doing what the hell ever in restaurants. I mean, there's other people there. And you want to take to Twitter like somehow you're the victim? Like, no, dude. But a lot of people were saying that, oh, this is fake, this didn't happen, and come to find out, Hill County Barbecue actually did verify that this did actually happen. Like, they put out statements on their social media, and they gave statements to the press saying that, yes, this guy started this confrontation with these people, and we did ask him to leave. So, that actually happened. And again, it's one of those things like, okay, it's an isolated incident, it's DC, it's bullshit, yeah, but this guy actually felt like it was his place to go confront complete strangers because they were wearing a certain hat. Like, I don't even understand what the fuck would possess somebody to do that. Like, okay, if you see somebody in a MAGA hat, okay, feel however you want to feel about it, but that doesn't mean that you get to, like, violate their space and start a confrontation with them. But that is where this very toxic online environment is leading to, where people are actually taking this, like, into real life and confronting people the way you would, like, on Twitter. But it's in real life with, like, real people, and there could be real consequences one day because, God forbid, you run up on the wrong person at the wrong time and they decide to take a swing at you, or, God forbid, they're armed and they draw down on you. Like, this is getting to a point where shit is just getting really freaking insane and scary, and it's going to end up getting dangerous. So I wanted to start with that story just to kind of give a backdrop to this particular story. And that is Zach Frost, who writes for Think Progress, has his own newsletter too, and he put out about 5 days ago a tweet advertising one of his newsletters, and I'll read to you the tweet where he announced this particular edition of his newsletter, and I want to tell you guys, this tweet has got to be, I think, the most ratioed tweet I've seen in a long time, maybe ever. So, here's the tweet. Specifically, I share a story in today's newsletter about my decision to unfriend somebody I've known since high school over her decision to wear a MAGA hat. I gave her a choice and she chose the hat over me. So, first of all, again, you can already see where this is going, especially with, again, that victim mentality where you start a confrontation and then somehow you're the victim. But this tweet, as of this recording, has 7,468 comments, 82 retweets, and 308 likes. That is harsh. That's beautiful, though. It's great. And it gives me a little bit of hope that maybe not everybody is gone batshit insane, and that there are at least a large enough group of people who can see something like this and be like, dude, no, you fucked up. You were in the wrong here. Like, you're not the victim here. But I want to go ahead and read this particular section of this newsletter because it's something that I've seen happen to other people. And if this was just like a one-off thing, I'd just be like, whatever, Zach's an idiot, who cares? But this is a thing I've heard of happening to other people, and I've heard of it happening to my friends. Like, I have friends who have had this situation happen where they have lost childhood friends over politics. And it's like, that's really shitty when you think about it. It's like somebody that you've known for decades and you want to throw all that away over this current situation. Like, this will pass. Like, this isn't forever. But people are doing things that once this situation is over, once Trump is no longer president, there are certain things that you are not going to be able to walk back. Like, there's certain things that you're not going to be able to take back. There's certain words that you tell people that they're not going to forget once this current situation is all said and done. So I do this as something of a warning and something of kind of an explanation of just how crazy shit is getting. And it's going to get worse. Like, the closer we get to November of 2020, this is going to get worse. I know it. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for it, but let's go ahead and get into the newsletter. So here we go. On MAGA hats. As I was browsing Facebook last night, I saw a picture of an old high school friend celebrating the 4th of July with her daughter on her lap. She was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Now, this friend and her family are evangelical Christians, and I've definitely disagreed with them on many things. But we've had respectful conversations about many topics in the past, even on the very personal issue of their anti-gay beliefs, and I believe that there was still some mutual respect between these significant disagreements. I've even stayed in their home in the past. But seeing her proudly wearing a MAGA hat in public, and with her daughter no less, violated this accord deeply. Okay, I guess now would be a good time to kind of back up and explain that Zach is gay. So, this is a childhood friend who he has known, obviously, is an evangelical Christian, and obviously evangelical Christians do not entirely agree with the gay lifestyle, shall we say, to put it politely. But this is somebody who put her personal beliefs on that aside for the sake of their friendship. And I would imagine that being an evangelical Christian is a much deeper personal commitment than being an SJW or being an anti-Trump person. Like, but she was able to see her way to setting aside those differences to be Zach's friend. So just bear that in mind as we go forward. It's not just a hat. It's a symbol of all the oppression and injustice that the Trump administration is responsible for. It's an endorsement of caging kids, banning Muslims, firing trans people, and dozens of other ways Trump has undermined our democracy, up to and including the fascist military display that graced the National Mall last night. More than anything, MAGA represents the idea that some human lives are worth more than others. Okay. Obviously, I have my problems with how things are being run right now, especially in regards to immigration. But I don't assume that those people who support Trump necessarily support everything he does. I don't know. There's millions of people that support Trump, and they all do it for their own particular reasons. Some people, like friend in question here, who is an evangelical Christian, may be doing it strictly on evangelical Christian lines, which makes no sense when you think about it. I know, but evangelical Christians tend to be Republicans, and Trump is, at least nominally right now, a Republican. Not the most Christian man in the world, I will say that, obviously. But, I mean, there's lots of reasons why people do what they do, and saying that just because somebody wears the MAGA hat means that they support all of these policies, and that's a bit of a leap. You know, I'm not a huge fan of this current hyper-generalization of people based on superficial traits and assuming that because you do thing X, you must believe in all these other things, and you may be willing to do all these other things. So, anyway, moving back to the piece. I explained all this to my old friend. To those inclined to reject the humanity of any particular group, a MAGA hat is a symbol of affirmation, license and encouragement to continue holding those beliefs. To members of those many rejected groups, it's a threat, a warning that such prejudice is welcome in that person's vicinity and may come from them directly. It's unacceptable to me to be subjected to that symbol from someone with whom I hypothetically have mutual trust. Okay, you can already see where this is going. Like I said, his friend is somebody who was able to put aside her anti-gay beliefs to be his friend. So clearly, she doesn't agree with any kind of certain anti-gay agenda per se, or at least not that is something that should be instituted upon everybody. But again, this is one of those things where you assume that the person that you see doing the thing that you don't like has all these evil intents, and there's a lot of othering going on here, and especially for somebody that you're friends with. Like, I can understand maybe if this was just some rando stranger, but this is somebody that Zach knows, like, since childhood. Like, you know this person, you know what they believe. What do you think this hat changed about this person that you've known for decades? Like, that's the thing that blows me away about so many of these stories, is it's like, these are people that you've known for ages and ages and ages, and have probably felt the way that they felt all that time, and now all of a sudden it's a problem? Just right now? Like, really? It wasn't a problem before. But because somebody put on a specific hat, all of a sudden, like, now they're the fucking Satan incarnate? I don't understand this. I really don't. But moving on. I gave my friend an ultimatum. I told her I wouldn't unfriend her so long as she apologized for wearing the hat and promised me that I wouldn't have to see it in my feed again. When she claimed I was trying to police her beliefs, I corrected her, pointing out that my conditions only regarded the hat, not her positions on any particular issue. When she claimed that she's equally offended by the pride flag, I corrected her again, explaining that objecting to a symbol of inclusion is in no way compatible to objecting to a symbol of exclusion, and she was making a false equivalency. When she said, if I can't have an opinion about something, then I guess I don't really live in a free country, I knew that there was no longer enough common ground for us to have a relationship. Hold the fuck up. Because here is the thing that I'm starting to see more and more often, and this really pisses me off. If you disagree with someone politically, fine, cool, whatever. You do not get to roll up on somebody and tell them that they have to alter their behavior to make you feel better. You don't have the right to do that. She gets to wear the MAGA hat, you can be pissed off about it. You can wave the pride flag, she can be pissed off about it. That's fine. You don't step to someone and be like, well, if you don't do the thing that I want you to do, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And, like, I don't want to see the MAGA hat, so I need you to not put that in my feed and apologize to me, like, right now. Like, who the fuck are you to even ask that of somebody, let alone demand it of somebody? Like, that's nuts. What level of hubris do you have to be on to even think that that is a good thing to have come out of your mouth and or fingers? What the hell? But it's that entitlement mentality that if somebody believes in something and you don't like it, then they need to change. No, either you can just let it be and keep it moving, or you can try to convince somebody of your position, but you don't get to tell somebody that they have to change who they are. Like, that's fucked up. And even when she points out that, again, she's offended by the pride flag, but up until that point, she kept her mouth shut about it because, again, she put that shit aside for the sake of the friendship. Like, and then you want to argue with her about it? Like, somehow she's the person in the wrong here? Like, you started a confrontation with somebody, she's trying to explain her position, and you're basically like, nope, you're wrong, I'm right, and you need to just listen to me. Like, shut up! Oh my god! It's so nuts. It's like, oh, well, I guess there's just not enough common ground for us to have a friendship. Well, yep, guess not, Zach, because you started the dumbest fucking confrontation of life, and it didn't go the way you expected it to, and now you've lost a friendship. Round of applause to you, Zach. But we're not done yet. We have free speech, but we don't have freedom from accountability for that speech. Anyone reading this is free to wear a MAGA hat, but you can't both wear a MAGA hat and claim to love thy neighbor. You can't both wear a MAGA hat and claim to respect me or millions of other Americans. You can't both wear a MAGA hat and believe that you're not reinforcing hate and oppression against others. We're way too far past such naivety at this point, and I certainly want no part of helping you convince yourself otherwise. Then extract yourself from the conversation, Zach. Like, honestly, if I had a friend and they stepped me like that, I would be like, fuck you. But it's easy to say that when it's not you in the situation. And I mentioned how I have heard this story from other people and other people I know to make the point that it's easy for us to sit here and say, but when it's you, like, that hurts. Like, that's hurtful. To have somebody that you've been friends with for decades all of a sudden just, like, treat you like this, that's shitty. Like, that hurts. And so I can understand where somebody would be upset by that, and where it would be hard just to be like, oh, well, fuck you. Like, okay, so I'm just going to take, like, decades of friendship and toss it in the trash because all of a sudden you've lost your damn mind? Like, you know, that's hurtful. That's a hurtful thing to do to somebody. And it's just, it's again, it's one of those things that once we're past this situation, you're never taking this back. You're never getting that friendship back. It's done. You torched it. You torched it over an idiot who lived at 1600 Pennsylvania, who one day won't. Like, Trump is not going to be president for forever and ever and ever. And then what? Like, all this scorched land that is being laid over this dude is just nuts to me. Like, I don't know what life is going to look like post-Trump for a lot of these people, but I'm imagining it's going to be pretty freaking lonely. But let's go ahead and finish the piece. As somebody who writes about Trump and his subordinates every day, I need every reprieve I can find from this toxic demise of our country, including in my personal social media. But my decision today to unfriend this individual was no simple purge. I am significantly emotionally wounded. Here was somebody with a happy, clean, healthy child on her lap, openly praising the man who has torn apart families and won't even give kids soap. And when asked to choose between a hat that embodies that evil and someone she's known half her life, she chose the hat. It left me feeling like we were so much worse off than I had convinced myself we were. My final words to her were, every time you wear the hat, you remember you lost a friendship over it. Every time. I know for sure now I'll think of her every time I see a MAGA hat, and I fear its corrupting power even more than I used to. Again, Zach, you are not the victim here. You lost the friendship. You decided to start that confrontation. You don't get to put that off on somebody else. Like, she put all this other shit aside for Zach, but Zach can't put this aside for her, and on top of that, to just cast the worst aspersions onto somebody. That, like, somehow because she wears the hat that she supports child separation. I don't know if she does or not. I would assume not. I would assume any parent would not support child separation because that sounds like the most painful thing you could possibly ever fucking do to somebody. But again, it's, and I said it before, I'll say it again. It is absolutely fucking wild to see people treat people that they've known for years like this. Like, this isn't somebody you met 6 months ago. Like, this is somebody you met decades ago. So no, Zach. She didn't throw away a friendship. You threw away a friendship over a hat. That was your decision. You decided to do that. You made that confrontation, and you decided that since she didn't bow to what you wanted her to do, that you were not going to be her friend. That's all you, Zach. There's nobody else. So you don't get to put that off on somebody else and pretend like you're the victim of something. Like, this whole thing just killed me. It really just fucking killed me. And it killed, like, half of political Twitter too. But like I said, it's just, this story is not unique, and it's something that we're probably going to see more of. And it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I don't know how you get past this particular moment with attitudes like this. Like, I'm not super cool with the idea of society just fragmenting into, well, if you don't believe all of the things I believe, then you're not my friend anymore, or you need to go away, or even worse, you need to be physically harmed, or you need to be dealt with in some way. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Like, everybody needs to calm down. You just need to calm down, take a deep breath, and understand that not everybody is a fucking monster just because you want them to be, or because they wear a certain hat, or they support somebody who you don't support, or even somebody who you actively oppose. Like, I don't like Trump. Like, I'm struggling to find anything that he's done outside of Gorsuch that I actually like. But I'm not going to sit here and act like people that support him are scum of the earth, or evil, or what the fuck ever, because I don't know them. Like, I don't know why people support Trump. I know there are many, many reasons why people do. And for as many people that voted for him, I'm sure there's as many reasons for supporting him. Okay. I don't have to agree with you. I don't even particularly have to understand you, because it's not for anybody to understand why a person votes for this person or doesn't vote for that person. It's a personal decision. It's not for anybody to have to explain. It is not for anybody else to have to understand. It's really just none of anybody's business, to be completely honest. But we live in this era now where everybody seems to think everything is everybody's business. And yes, we have kind of done this to ourselves through social media and putting so much of ourselves out there, those of us that do that. But there is a line that people are crossing, and it's ugly and it's dangerous. And I mean, there is going to be a world after. Like, this too shall pass. And what that world is going to look like after this scorched earth nonsense, I don't know. And I don't know how you build any kind of consensus to go forward as a society, how to go forward in politics, how to go forward in anything, if where we're going to end up is just everybody retreating to their own little corners and just vilifying people that they don't agree with. Like, not even just saying that I don't agree with you, but saying that you are evil because you agree with somebody else. And just, yeah, and just the stupidness and the pettiness. And it's just, yeah, it's going to get bad, guys. It's going to get real ugly, and I'm not looking forward to it. And I can already starting to see it happen in certain other areas of social media, in certain other political groups. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So if you did like it and you did make it this far, thank you as always. And if you do like this, please rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Take care, and until next time.